It's that time of week again, Sunday, 6 p.m., and I'm glad to be back. It's been a long sojourn here, and a lot of things happening. Uh, and I'm just now out of the hospital again, and they've been doing some work on me, putting some stents. Um, in one case, they actually had to drill out one of my arteries, but it's looking pretty good. And I should have a couple more trips, and I'll be better than new. I'll be like Steve Austin, the $6 million man. Anyway, with that out of the way, uh, I want to remind everyone we have a conference coming up August 7th to 11th. Everyone needs to get signed up. Tonight, we're going to be covering our program guide that Karen Elkins has put together for me in my absence and everything. And if anything has happened, it should be the person to be in contact with. Anyway, I'd like to remind everyone too that we do have a YouTube channel that we need people to sign up for. It's $9.99 a month. I'm putting a lot of new material up there every day. To get to it, just go to TeslaTech.info and click on it, and it takes you right to the channel. If you go to the conference directory, then what would happen is you pick out the conference you want to, and all the programs or all the speakers that are on the program will be featured on it, and you can kind of go right through them. We also have a speaker directory. We need people to subscribe. Subscriptions are free, but what I also need you to do is become members. By becoming an exclusive member, you get global access 24/7 to all of our videotapes, and these can be seen anywhere in the world. So it's great. It's a global thing. If you're overseas, I encourage you to do that, and then like I say, if we're putting up the 2023 conferences later on this month. I have about half of them up there. I'm going to be putting more up there later on this week. Anyway, like I say, join. And now I'm going to go ahead, and here's our conference guide. This is what it looks like from the outside. And here's Karen, the editor of it. And she's done a great job. And we're looking forward to this year's conference. And for those of you, I have an online version of the program on my website. However, I need to be updating it, so just can't remember that at this point. And I'm working on a smaller version, a 16-page version that we normally mail out, and we plan to mail one of those out too. So, anyway, without further ado, do you have anything to start with, Karen?
Why don't we start with, because I think a lot of people who've never been to TeslaTech, let's kind of like flip through and give them a sort of an insight of what it's like to experience a conference. So if we kind of move on first, let's just kind of speak to just the idea that when people actually show up at TeslaTech, the whole idea is that they're coming in to meet with people who think out of the box. They're coming with people who are looking at changing the world in a way that would make it more beneficial for humanity. And and with that, we'll just go scooch over there, Steve. And what happens is at the event is not only do you listen to speakers, but it is an intimate setting in a really lovely hotel. And what happens is in the evenings, like, and you see that under the umbrella, as Steve was saying, the chefs make their choice of what goes out on the menu. So it could be a pizza bar, taco bar, or whatever kind of thing. But in the evening, go buy yourself your beer and your wine, sit out here, and you can mingle with everybody. And this is in Albuquerque, where it's warm in the evenings most of the time. If it rains, we go in. But for the most part, we're outside in the evening, the air is warm and it's lovely. And there are people that you want to meet with in the evening. You just go sit down at that table, go have a conversation with people. And that's what makes TeslaTech, I think, kind of extraordinary. It's because it is an environment where we all mingle, we all change. If you're a lot of people that do show up are other tinkerers and people who work their own machines. And if they always are confabbing in the back end, talking about what's going on with you, and they get help from it from other people. So it's kind of it's a place where I'm going to say the geekies go, as well as the techies, and even if you're into the idea of alternative healing devices, there's innovative things. I mean, this time, Steve, you've got a gentleman coming. You want to explain the one who does the heart machine?
Oh yeah, be Joseph Ince. I think he's on Thursday morning, and he will be bringing these ultrasound probes that we had. He did a show a couple weeks ago, and he'll have the
Steve, page 23. Page
Pardon?
23. Page 23.
And then he will take and be doing free ultrasound of your cartoid there. If you want a more extensive probe, he charges for that. But yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, so it's there. He's showing like the arteries and how they can get clogged up. You know, mine looked even worse than that because the one they worked on me was like 99%, so full, and they had to take literally a drill and drill it out. I mean, medical technology has really gone forward, you know, in the past, 10 years here, 20 years. And like I say, that he actually drilled that out and put 2 stents. It was so long. And it was better that it was better than getting a bypass, because a bypass, you got to cut your ribs out, and cut your leg open, and you pull the stuff out of there, put it in your chest. And I just wasn't up to that. They could just, clean it out like this, and it's like 100% better. And this is the last thing I want to say about it, but for a while there, it felt like I had an elephant on my chest.
Mm.
And so when they drilled that out, all of a sudden, that elephant is gone. So all this time, I thought I was having lung problems because I used to smoke 3 packs a day when I was younger. It wasn't. It was a heart thing. So something for us all to be aware of. But Joseph is going to bring these ultrasounds. You can take a glance at your cartridge, which will be up in here, and see what that looks like, and go from there.
So here's what I think, Steve, we should do. In the very beginning, if you actually open the guide, you will see that kids under 19, accompanied by a paying adult, are welcome to come to the conference. We're encouraging it. We're also putting together demo tables to invite even for younger people to come in and explore. A lot of the speakers will have tables of their own, demo tables for the kids to interchange with as well. If you're under 24, it's $300 as opposed to like $395. So we've made it so more younger the better, because we need a next generation to come in. So I want to emphasize that we are encouraging youth and teens and those in their 20s, whatever, that we can get in there with lesser price or free. So a look at the beginning of that for the pricing. So if we go then, Steve, to page 18, the first speaker that we have would be Netto. Netto comes from Portugal, and he has been working a lot with a lot of the rodent coil technologies, and he and another group of guys are coming in to bring in a wellness sort of device. But Netto also is very much into alternative energies as well, and very well sought after and very well appreciated within the community. I think we'll have quite a few, I actually call it the rodent boys coming in, because Marco is very good at the mystical and the numbers and the analysis, but he's not somebody who's an engineer who makes these things. So there will be quite a few of what I call rodent techies coming in presenting on this weekend. The next actually 4 days, and Netto's will be doing a workshop. So please come and join us for Netto. He is he's great. He's very techy. He's got his degree in engineering. He's got patents and things he sold. So that would be really fun. And then if we go to the next page, Steve, that would be great. For those of us who went to TeslaTech and also went to the Electric Universe conference, we've invited some of the Electric Universe people here, because, after COVID, so many of the conferences just didn't get restarted again. So we have one of the really fun guys from the EU conference, which is Michael Claridge. who's an astrophysicist, who's going to just kind of give us an update on what's happening with Sapphire, as well as the LENR. Did I say that right, Steve? I think I did.
Yeah, low energy nuclear reaction.
Yeah, and so we will have him coming in and speaking to that. And with that, there will be two other people I'll explain later that are kind of tied in with that. James Sorens is one who very much part of the electric universe, and it's everything electric. He's going to talk on a ton of different things. He also worked with somebody who wrote the book on the SAM model of the atom, which talks about a whole different construct of how the atom and the periodic table work. And that's a fun one because actually it's quite simple, but it really explains a lot of things. So he's very well versed on everything electric, from the electric planet to electricity, just everything. So anyway, he will be there. He will be backing back to back with Michael Sorensen. So we'll have a Wednesday evening. It's kind of after Netto. This is like an introduction evening. And after that, we'll have the social. So you can say that that one's everything electric. So I think that'll be fun. And we're happy to have part of the electric universe be part of this TeslaTech so that we can keep everybody going. I mean, that was part of the intention, is to bring that in. So the next page, I'm going to let you tell about, because I don't know Susan Whitaker. So why don't you talk about that, Steve?
Well, Sue Whitaker is like more of a subtle energy type person.
Mm-hmm.
And she's spoken in the past conferences about different devices and that use the biofields to detect what's going on with you on that and help heal you on that. And this time she's focused on the multi-wave oscillator that was invented by George Lahovsky, who Tesla worked with, by the way, at one time in France, so, and helped him develop that. So.
And that actually was a healing device. And there's a few other people still making that these days. We know about Joseph. We spoke about him. So we can go on to the next page.
Well, Aaron up in Spokane, does he still make those?
Yeah, I think Aaron Virol, Virol, is still making the multi-wave oscillator. And the next person who's coming that's on our list is Steve Ross. Steve Ross has one of the next page, Steve. You can go to the next one. I'll explain that one. Steve Ross has a library that has probably over 20,000 books in it that go all the way from Pythagoras to the original writings and handwriting books of Royal Rife to Manly Hall's book. It's amazing. Steve has been taking care of that library, been lecturing on it all around the world for a very long time. And he wrote a book also on why is it that we have all the healing devices that if we look at from Royal Rife to Denshaw, these things actually did work. And they were just kind of like disappeared. The people actually turned out being put in jail and sort of like silenced for a while. But, you know, the person who actually has some of the original books, the original handwritings and stuff is Steve. So Steve could talk not just about those things, but more about what we need a little bit more in our life is a little bit of love and the sound healing that you got to remember your whole body is an electric machine, but it's also a sound vibrating machine, and how we can heal through sound and vibration and color. You remember your whole body's based on that. So actually color does heal. So anyway, he'll speak to a little bit more of that. He's a lovely human being. So it was a real pleasure to have him. The next person, I don't know, that's just what you can speak to.
Isaiah Ritchie, he was on the program a couple weeks ago, and he's doing the solar effects replications and that, and he's going to be bringing a couple devices down to demonstrate the solar effect. It's a good hardware presentation. And we have Steve Ward. He'll be coming up from Texas, and he'll be just demonstrating his magnetic technology in that, which is both some anti-gravity, but also a lot of energy stuff in there. So, and you're going to find that the electrogravitics and free energy are totally interrelated in a lot of ways, you know, and also the medical, which is why we end up doing so much medical stuff.
It was really fun. I spoke to him on the phone, Steve, the other day, and he sent me pictures of him, and I decided not to just put one. It was his big handlebar, his big beard, or the other. And actually, I went to his website. There's a website link there. Go to it. He's got lots of demos in there, and he's quite the character. He's a lovely human being, very spiritual man, and I would suggest definitely looking at his site. He's going to be fun. He's going to do the gravity at his demo table. He's always going to speak to Tesla's technology for his lecture, and on his table, he's going to do the gravity in a bottle. Anyway, but look at his site; it's really fun. Lots.
And then we have Russell Anderson. He's a favorite. He always brings hardware and different levitation devices, and he has also worked quite closely with Dr. Searle when Dr. Searle was alive, and they're promoting the Searle technology. And but this is intermingled with the secret space program of our government, and there may be some connection with aliens. I officially disavow myself, but who knows? Maybe that's why they sent me to Nellis Air Force Base, is because of my alien biology. But anyway, there's a lot of mystery about the disclosure and what is really out there or not. If we're seeing it on the news all the time, the question is how much of that is aliens and how much of that is interagency rivalry. Because I believe, our government's been using it for years, and I believe, that we didn't get rid of our space shuttle without having a secondary way to get up into space, and probably became the primary way. And I don't think we really need all these chemical rockets. I think we could do it with gravitics, but they're just not letting the cat out the bag yet.
Yeah, he's also got a good demo table, and he's also very approachable and during the conference. And last year's presentation was really fascinating.
And every night, at the during the social hour, he brings out his instruments and he gives a little background music there, and usually a couple people join him. So no telling what's going to happen at our conference in the evenings. I mean,
and dancing. You never know.
We even had a silent rave one time. This lady comes in there and she had a disc jockey, put these headphones on, and she had two disc jockeys, depending on which type of music you want. That's where your headphones are set. And you get out there and dance, and you have all these people out there dancing, and you can't hear nothing, but they can hear. So it's kind of cute.
Oh, you made me. We have one other gentleman coming he used to be a DJ. I can ask him. Interesting. So. Okay. And I think the next night is myself and keep going and Kimberly Faith. We're working or teaching a little bit more about Walter Russell technology, as well as the holographic nature of the universe. Kimberly is working with the Walter Russell Foundation and working on igniting the inner genius. So we're because Walter Russell, if you read the Man Who Tapped the Secret of the Universe, he really realized that by actually peering into the inner force, that what he would call the Christ kind consciousness, there was nothing that you couldn't tap or learn. And if you look at many of the different people like Tesla, there's many sayings as like, tap into, I get my information from somewhere, but I don't know exactly what it is, but there's all that kind of stuff. So Kimberly and I are going to do the holographic nature, and then second part of the talk is I'm going to step off stage, and both Kimberly and Penny Kelly, who's an intuitive, is going to do sort of a guided meditation into the inner genius. And that's going to be quite interesting. I've done some of Penny's stuff before, sort of awakening that little part in you. But the special extra treat to this is that if you've any of you seen the movie The Field, where people actually went into prayer from Israel to Palestine, they prayed together, you could see the change in the field. So go to the next page, Steve. Krishna Madhapa was the gentleman who actually did a lot of the testing during the Field movie. And he's going to be there, and he's going to actually, at the end, show you the before and after. And you will see what the Sputnik does. A little machine down there is part of the BioWell, or some of you know the GDV device. It's able to sense the shift in the field and the magnetics, the atmospheric. So when people switch their, I don't know, calm, there's just different energy in the room. So he's able to do that. But the extra treat that goes with it on the next page is a gentleman by the name of Don Estes. And Don is somebody I met years ago, and he works with the supercomputer and has a 12 toroidal construct. And through that, he was able to create what you see in the back there, is sort of this geometry that works through time and space. And as we speak, or our people speak, you're going to see the room shift. You'll actually be able to see the matrix moving. His coil thing goes up and down in this 12 toroidal torus field. And that'll be really fun because you'll not be able to measure it. You'll be able to see it, and you'll be able to feel it. So you're going to have a full sensory experience for that last part of the evening. And then after that, you can go have your glass of wine or your beer or whatever, and have your whatever shows up that the chef decides to innovate at that evening. So that should be a fun, sort of different event. So next. Krishna then will present. Krishna is part of he's been an innovator and been in the water business for over 30 years. And through his ventures, he has innovated a product called the Jiva device with his friends out in India. And it actually, with all the science behind it, is showing a 30% increase in use of growth in plants, healing of people, to less fertilizer, 30% use of water, because the structure in it is actually absorbed in the way nature has it meant to be. So Krishna will show all of the research based on that. He's a zone shaman and just a really beautiful human being. So next page. Yeah, you can see the difference, just so you can see the difference before and after with using the structured sort of device. So there you go. Next. You want to speak to George?
Yeah, George Weissman. I've known George since the 80s. Guess that kind of takes and dates me, huh? Anyway, George is probably the most knowledgeable person I know of when it comes to combustion and that. But he's turned his efforts for the past couple of decades towards bronze gas, and start off, I think, more on the unique properties where you can actually weld with this. You can weld rocks and wires together, for instance, okay? But then he started using hydrogen for health reasons and that, and he's developed a lot of machines towards that end, and he'll be bringing some of those machines to the conference, so you'll be able to get them right there, and you can learn even more about the bronze gas and even try it yourself, so.
Yeah, if you go to his booth, you can actually sample it. But I think the interesting thing about George, if you've seen him over the years, once he started using the brown gas, he's basically in his 60s, and he looks like he's in his early 50s. I mean, over the years using the brown gas, he looks like a little baby face now. No wrinkles, no nothing. He's just, it's amazing. So he himself is a testament to his product.
And then
there is the beautiful Robert Slovak. He is a walking dictionary when it comes to what's in your water, what it does to you. He's got 3 companies in the area of water technologies. One is Water and Wellness, where you can buy all kinds of things. He's innovated hydrogen tablets to purifying water devices, to another company that's all on deuterium depleted water. So he's a wealth of knowledge. The magazine I did on him, I did a special issue, go ahead and hit on it, and you can read through and you can see the amount of work this man has done over the years. He's a genius, he's brilliant, he's lovely. And the last time he spoke spontaneously at your conference, because somebody didn't show up, he had the audience riveted. So he's speaking this time, I think, more on soil and terrain, but he has a little part of anything you want to ask about water, he will answer it for you at the end. So that was the plus. This man is brilliant. He's not to be missed. So anyway, that's my take on him. Your turn. This one's yours.
Okay, this is Dr. Thorsten Ludwig. He's out of Germany, and he brings us all the latest information on the European free energy scene, and they do a lot of hardware work and a lot of real testing in that, and he'll be updating all the information we get, and they do things like the Comrade generator, and I'm sorry, my brain is not operating functionally yet, but there's some other German energy machines that the British intelligence was looking into during World War II, and he has all those replicating that research and everything. So there's just a lot of good stuff out there that he brings to the table. Every year he has a new presentation. So go up and check out our YouTube channel and check out his past presentation. You'll find it's clear and articulate and well organized, and you'll get a lot of information out of it.
The next is Master Maury King, who's you can probably go to the next page because it's got a picture of Maury. He's like what do you call him? He's like the guru in this business. He's been around, well respected, and why don't you go?
Water is 0 point energy, is what he does, and he's been doing this for years. I mean, I first met him back in '88, I believe. Well, no, it might have even been '84. Yeah, it's just been a long time, and I've actually edited a lot of his papers that's in our proceedings from when I was with the Tesla Society. And so, yeah, chance come to it. He's always a big hit, always has new material. And last year he was working with the Bendall machine as well. Or that's what he's going to be talking about this time, the Bendall machine, which was here last year, and an additional section. So Maury's always a great guy.
Yep, he's always like a staple. This person is somebody I know out of where I live. He lives in Idaho. He's a nuclear physicist, and he wants to kind of show people how to get close to getting to that place. I think he made his money during the Iraq War with a radar jammer. So he's not a small fish in the pond. He's brilliant, and between him, Michael Claridge, and Max, who's coming, you have sort of a dynamics of the LNER. What is it, Steve? The
I don't know.
That alphabet soup. The LENR. Is that it?
Oh, LENR. Yeah, low energy nuclear reaction.
So,
which is what all the 0 point stuff is really based upon, a lot of it, and popularized by Storms, I believe, back in the '90s and that. I don't know if he's still alive.
Yeah, and I will say Paul is sort of a part sponsor of the event. He's the one who's sponsoring Michael Claridge and another gentleman named Max to fly here. So yeah, it'll be fun, and they've all been conversing with each other, so that's been kind of a fun thing for all of them. So anyway, there you go.
This is an opportunity. One way to view this conference is if you're serious about energy technologies and that, you need to come to this conference, because instead of having to fly out yourself to all these different places and that, you have all these people gathered in one area where you can sit down and talk to them and find out who's real and who's a flake, And like I say, we're all about hardware and not hot air, when we have enough global warming going on without us adding to it, But anyway, I can't wait to meet Paul. So.
Yeah, and the next gentleman, you can go past that because he did links. You have that one. Okay.
This picture needs to be changed because this is Bill Alec.
Yeah, you've got the old one. It's been updated on the brochure.
Yeah. So anyway,
yeah, and just so I make that clear, what's happening is Dan, that's not Dan, but Dan is going to be doing the Reisman hypothesis and the bridge realizing by the proof of 1859, the Reisman hypothesis. So he's going to be doing something relative to that. And then he's got something where it's a table that's separate that has to do with photosynthesis. So he too is bringing two possibilities, but he's actually on the lecture doing the Reisman hypothesis. So yes.
I'll try to get a better definition of that in the next week or two.
Yeah, I have it, and it's in the new. I'll resend you the new PDF. Sorry about that.
Okay.
All right, and so forget that part and go to the next. And the next is somebody which is Thomas Bailey.
Yeah, Tom. He's a researcher, and he's been at 2 conferences already, but he's talking about these buckyballs and the carbon. And the carbon is going to be an area of real advancement here. They have found, like, I don't know if they, and some of the research they do, that they can eat some of this stuff and almost has the same effect that uh, the white gold has.
Oh, the monatomic gold?
Huh?
The monatomic gold?
The monatomic gold has some of the same properties of that, And so, like I say, carbon technology is something we need to get getting more into, because we have to start doing our decarbonization of this planet here to some degree, because we haven't crept in too much stuff here. But like I say, they've come a long ways in chemistry, and he's a chemist. So, next slide.
Keep going. There, Don Estes is the one I mentioned to you before, who's going to, he had the toroidal field. He's has a company called Vibrasound and Sensory Resonance. And Don's work is more about, if you look at the picture behind him, he constructed the whole concept of the universe and put it in this map, and it explains everything. Even the president of Gaia has that in his living room. So he's quite an interesting person when it comes to sound. I'm going to say psychedelics and what he does with his Vibrasound machine, which he's looking to bring, where you can go in and experience the sound, color, and how it helps heal your body and being in that entrenchment of that. I've known Don for a long time. So what do we say here? He's got both professionally but it's entrainment. The state of mind theories include property of knowledge and patterns in the field of light, color, sound, and algorithms. So it'll be a unique, different sort of experience. So yeah. So anyway, we can go beyond that one. And I think is Dale Pond. Do you want to explain, Don? Dale?
Yeah, I've known Dale since in the 80s. He was one of the board members of the International Tesla Society. And he's been working with the Keeley research, who worked with sound, and using sound as an energy source and a motive source, including some anti-gravity properties in that. And Dale has a machine. I think you might have it on the next page.
No, I've got it in the back because he's bringing it for a demo. So it's in the back on the
Atlas, which is a Keeley device, and it's a giant globe that's supposed to produce energy in that. And he'll be bringing that to the conference more likely.
Yeah, no, he is. He's already agreed. So he's speaking. His talk is about the scalar potential state. It's about the different refractions and distributing equilibrium, and its kinetic states of motion. So its work is going to be based on Russell, Keeley, and Bearden.
So a great combination.
Yeah, there it is right there. So you can read more about that if you look at the guide. And we still have to deal with the stick man. That's that. And this is a placeholder for the moment. And we have a person we think that's going to be, but we're not going to speak to that too much quite yet.
In the meantime, we'll go with John.
Yeah. The next page, just go to the next. The next person is Max. And Max was somebody I found on the he was like the remote viewer kind of guy, but it really wasn't anything to do with remote viewing. Had everything to do with the latest technology. And this is about nanoparticle bubbles and how they implode and explode. And I sent it off to Michael Claridge because I work with that guy. And then I sent it off to Paul Finman, and that's when they said, we want this guy at the conference. So that's why he's coming. He's got some technologies. He actually has a company that measures different radionics and things like that. So it'll be interesting. So he's a man of few words for me when I've spoken to him. I think he's originally from Russia. So yeah, maybe that's why he's not as yappy as some of the others. Okay. Then the next talk will be John L. Peterson is a futurist, and where he lives in Berkeley Springs, Virginia, he puts on a monthly conversation with innovative leaders, whether it's health, whether it's somebody like a David Martin, who's out there sort of as a freedom fighter in a sense. I mean, he brings in some very provocative speakers. One of the things he does, if you go to the next page, Steve, the next one, next one. He does the thing called WhatsApp and What's Up. And one of his buddies is Greg Braden. So Greg lives in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and he's kind of come down and join us on Saturday evening with John. And they are going to be part of that conversation of what's up. So what's on their minds, what they're doing. There'll be an opportunity for you to sort of talk to Greg yourself and ask questions. So that's a rare gift to TeslaTech, to have somebody who has that kind of a following that's not as techy, but certainly into the frame of heart, mind, and spirit, and making a profound difference in the world. So we're very thankful for Greg for coming in and being part of the conversation, and actually bringing some extra different kind of spirit to the conference. So thanks, Greg. And this is, if you want to see what John, this is a just the kind of people that John brings in. You can check out his site. And yeah, and this one's on you. I don't know this gentleman.
This is Danny Dubraw, and he's working on a new cosmology, and he talks about the micro and the macro I don't know, fields, the versions of the universe, and that it's kind of like, if you look at like a national economy versus your personal economy, the macro and the micro, and how they interact, and how they what you may attribute properties to one may not be applicable to the other, even though they're parts of the same thing. It's kind of like looking at your hand. You see a hand, but you get down to molecular level, you start looking at the cells and that, you get a totally different picture. And so it's his attempt to explain the elephant in the room with us, what we are and where we're going.
There we go. Patty again is an intuitive. She's also an engineer. So again, she's going to talk about unraveling the arrow of time conundrum, bridging source and science. She's brilliant. She's fun. And just that she will be amazing. So, and I brought her in on the Thursday night with the rest of the lecture, so you could actually be introduced to her a little bit earlier, so that you can actually engage with her at her table. So the next person, and I think the last person, is Susan Price, who always sort of wraps up, right, Steve? She wraps up everything and kind of takes the whole conference and puts it in a, I don't know, synopsis?
Yeah, kind of, and with a vision to the future.
Yeah.
And where we're heading to, and, where our research is going to, and we're becoming more and more of a quantum technology now, But she's a good closer. Always closes on a high note.
Yep. She's very, very interesting. And the next page is just an acknowledgement to John Fiera and John Fiera's son, John Arthur, and his lovely wife, for their continued support of TeslaTech, and just to acknowledge that when people haven't seen what it takes to set up and tear down, and at the end of the lectures, oftentimes the tapes are already there for you to buy. It's an amazing sort of synergy that happens in the back, and it isn't without a lot of work and a lot of effort. So we would say a big thank you to John and John Arthur and his lovely wife. I don't remember her name at the moment, but
Patrice. Thank
you. So yeah, and so that just this is just, most people don't know what happens in the background, but there's actually a secret to John as well. He's been in the tech world for a very long time, and many times, not many times, so sometimes the guys come in and they might have a glitch in their system, and he's actually able to go in and jump in and help with the tech. He did that last year as well with the Bental thing, and that's when the Marco Roden boys came in and helped with that as well. It was quite an interesting experience to watch the back workings of what was happening in the back. So, and everybody was out there and open and having fun, and it was an interesting conversation. And yeah, so, but John jumped in and saved the day for one of the demos. So yeah. So
I would also like to mention, that John brings, anywhere from about 5 to 10 people in to help him set all this stuff up, and these are all volunteers. Some live in Albuquerque, some live across the country and that, but they all come here and they are volunteers, and they set the conference up. They do the videotaping. I don't know how many times people come in and they wanted to bid on the conference, but when they found out this is a volunteer effort, and basically we're just paying costs. You know, they don't want nothing to do with this. But John has been there since, 2005. I believe it's either 2004, 2005 in Salt Lake City, and John's been our production director ever since then. So that's a lot of years. Boy, that's about 20 years, going on 20 years now. Where does all that time go?
Well, and here's with that said, the fun thing is, if that say there's one of these topics that does not resonate with you, the demo tables or the demo and the vendors are always generally open, and you can go and sample, try, go to like Wiseman's table. He's got a hydrogen machine. They're just all kinds of things. And a lot of the guys are coming up to stuff like the guy with the gravity in a bottle. All of these people will be there for having conversations. I know the rodent boys have all asked for tables. There will be a plethora of different types of rodent coils that have been developed over the time. Marco may show up. He always teases and says no and then yes, but I think he'll be there. And a lot of his guys will be there. So I think that'll be a fun show. So anyway.
And then we have the all-important bookstore, conference bookstore, where we have all the books and all we have. There are back issues of the magazine. I encourage you maybe to get a deluxe membership and get all the back issues of our magazine. There's, I don't know, about 10, 20 pounds worth of material there. A lot of material. Drop it on your foot, you're going to break it. But that's all the magazines I've done underneath the Extraordinary Technology brand since about 2004, 2003, somewhere in there. But like I say, a lot of people ask me, where do I start? And I say, well, start with the magazine, especially the back issues, because all that information in there, most of it's still as good today as it was back then.
But also, Steve, with your YouTube channel, there's a lot of archived shows. Some of them are free, some of them are not. And that's in other words, if you don't have time to read, but you want to just kind of have background and listen to things, or there's a certain topic you really like, go check out the YouTube channel, because you'll find things with the out of the box thinkers.
Yeah, but that's a video, and the problem with the YouTube channel, the one flaw is if we lose electricity, you can't watch it. However, if you have a magazine or a book,
I see what you're saying.
Always open it up and read it.
Yep.
So.
There you go. So I think and also just when you come in, you register in the bookstore as well.
And there's Phil. He's a favorite here. He has a sauna. I use that sauna at least 2 or 3 times a week. If you find yourself getting really cold, hop in that sauna and it will warm your core. But
at the show, he's got like 4 of them set up. People can go in and sit in their sauna by themselves. It doesn't make you sweaty. He's got a sort of an infrared sort of thing going on. And everybody goes in, and in the morning, you can either jump in there. There's another guy who does a meditation. There's another one where you can try the hydrogen machine. It's great fun.
but the thing about the ones he has there, he only sits it for so long,
Yeah.
But you go for a long time, that's when you start working the sweat out and everything.
Yeah.
The longer you're in there, the hotter it gets.
I did it a few times. Again, Paul's going to actually do a demo at the table, so you're going to be able to meet Paul and.
Just there for the demos and the vendors is worth it.
Yeah, there's the vendors. Sorensen's going to actually show you the structure of the animal. He's going to bring the little buckyball sort of things, or not buckyballs, but these magnetic balls that show how it ranges. Wasn't quite sure how to do rodents figure, but if you actually want to learn a little bit about the Marco rodents mathematics, open that up and you can peek through it, and it'll give you an insight, and then the guys will be there and explain a little bit more. But that is a 30 or 300 page book that actually explains vortex-based mathematics. So I did that with Marco over a 4-year period. It's very, very visually dense. And so even for anybody who's a layman, they'll be able to get it. So there you go. So open that up and enjoy. Here's Mr. Ward's gravity in a bottle. Come play with him. He is a hoot. He said he had a vision issue, and it makes him see things in different ways that other people can't see. So you know what? He is a humble guy. He's funny. He's from Texas. He got the accent. He's just really fun. So come meet Stephen. He was a hoot. I talked to him the other day on the phone. Explore his site. Yeah, he's excited to share. He just, anyway, there you go. Al Throckmorton has been working on the Lord's pump forever, and I think they have it. It is a very profoundly productive, we will say, water pump that he had envisioned putting in Africa to bring energy and water up, and they might be close to making it happen sooner than later. I did add a link in there from eMedia Press that kind of gave you a clue to what was in it. As Al said to me, they've made some updates, but at least to give you an overview, if you want to look at it, you can go to eMedia Press, which is Aaron Murakami's site. And go ahead, Steve, this one.
This is Dale Pond's device. It's a musical dinosphere. And I think he says, I'm not sure whether it's operational or what.
No, yeah, it is operational, and it does expel a field. If you actually get close to it, you will feel the radiance that actually energizes the field. I think when it was originally thought of and done, it was supposed to be a healing machine.
Yeah, it's a healing machine.
Yeah, it was a healing machine. So that was the intent behind it. So he said he'd bring it, and he's not coming from that far. He's coming from Colorado. So there you go.
And then this Joe Pod.
Yeah, and in there's tons of links. I put ShiftPod in because Steve is, not Steve, but this gentleman, Chris Weber, is going to bring a ShiftPod so that the next page, he will be able to demo for Don Estes. You'll be able to go into a big pod tent and have a private moment with you and the sensory equipment. So, but what's interesting about the ShiftPod is it actually pops up like a Buckminster Fuller's sort of tent, and it goes up in 2 minutes. And he had that epiphany when he was at Burning Man, and he saw somebody who had a yurt, and he woke up with a dream, and the dream was, how can I make that happen? And he actually made it happen. He went to Vietnam, found to figure out a place that they could make it, and they actually helped him engineer it, and it's been going hotcakes ever since. So I'm grateful to Mr. Weber for allowing and sending a ShiftPod so that we can demo for Don. Having connections helps. And then we have Pure Vibras sound. I mean, how do I say that? Pure Vibras? And that is Rick's company. And everything that Rick sells is something you can eat, and it heals. He does a ton of research on his products. If you go to the next page, because it has some of the things that everything he does, he tests. And the products there sell like hotcakes when they're done. He has these small little laser devices, which I have, which is this thing, and it actually heals. I mean, it's really cool. So these things actually do heal when you do that. So he has these things, they can explain it. And if you hit that book, I actually did a magazine with Rick, and it'll explain how all these lasers work. So by all means, hit the button and go explore. So there's lots and lots of ways to explore all of these different things. So.
And Joe Blanton will be at the conference with the lasers and everything.
Actually, so will Rick. Rick's showing up.
Yeah. Well, Joe's got a booth there.
Yeah.
And so Joe has a great presentation. He's been on our show a couple of times, and he has those laser lights.
Yep. So. It's a great product.
Okay.
And Penny is going to have her book. She's a prolific author, and she does programs, and she will be there to talk to anybody who's there. And the next one is Kimberly Faith. She will be there representing not only the Walter Russell Museum, but also program that she and a few other people are doing, which is about awakening your inner genius and tapping into the field. She's passionate about Walter Russell's work, as I am myself. It was one of my first adventures when I got into understanding any of this stuff. And so anyway, so that's The Man Who Tapped the Secrets of the Universe. This is Slowback products, not all, but at least a teaser for you and a link to the sites. He's got some interesting stories based on that Kuton water, where he was in the Amazon desert, or Amazon. He went after he was one of the founding gentlemen for reverse osmosis technologies, sold his business, went off to the Amazon, got very sick, and the people in the Amazon had that Kuton water, which was, it's water from the ocean that has all the minerals and stuff and heals a lot of people. And he has a really interesting story based on how that actually healed him and how he got into this other business. It wasn't just because he was just trying to he was profoundly moved by what that did. And so, and then there's other things in there. There's a deuterium depleted water as well. So really brilliant man trying to make a difference. Krishna will have a table so you can actually feel the weight of that Jiva device. They are solid. They're stainless steel. They're amazing. And the rainbow colors come out, the vortexing, the geometry. And it's beautiful stuff. So they have lots of research and studies. Mika, very unique soul. He also has a hydrogen machine, but he also has deodorant that you can eat. It's totally healthy. It helps you detoxify. And it came to him in a vision. And it's for me, I'll be candid, it's the best deodorant I've ever used. It actually works. And it doesn't have aluminum. It has nothing. Literally, you can eat it. It's brilliant stuff. So I would check that out as well. There you go. And there's his hydrogen machine. He makes them himself. A few issues back, I did an issue on hydrogen and some of the machines. And one of them had to do with, you had a gentleman last year who had that big bed. Who was that? That metal bed in
Ralph Sudath.
Yeah, Ralph. So Ralph is in there. Mika's in there. Walter Russell's work is in there. Krishna's work is in there. And it really is talking about what's going to be happening in the future. A lot of people, when they think of the hydrogen machines, they think, oh, that's kind of whatever. But the Asians have been using that forever and ever and ever in their wellness and their beauty, because it does rejuvenate the skin and it oxygenates your blood and it helps just rejuvenate your whole body. So there's a lot of things that are unconventional, but in other places they are very conventional. And here's your guy with the heart. There's his heart machine.
Yeah, an ultrasound you can plug into your cell phone. I think they sell for about $3,000 for one of those probes, but you plug into your cell phone, you get the app, next thing you know, you got your own ultrasound.
And
that's a pretty good thing there. And I'd like to remind everyone, if you like the show and everything, be sure to go and hit the thumbs up. That helps us, with the algorithms and everything. And of course, we're always fighting the YouTube and company about their censorship and everything. But they are the biggest out there, and we try to get as many hits as possible, and that's done through those thumbs up. By giving us the thumbs up, you're telling that machine, hey, this is a worthwhile connection, and it promotes us for free to other people. So and I don't know, do you have anything else to add, Karen? Or
no, I just hope that in listening to this, that maybe it's excited you to want to come and join us and be part of the fun, and to explore the different ideas, whether it's wellness or whether it's cutting edge technology, or whether you missed the EU conference and at least you got some guys coming back in to say boo. Join us. I mean, it is an intimate time, and we almost have the hotel to ourselves by that time. So it's really quite the nice community. So I would say don't miss out. It's always my favorite.
You register for the hotel or get your reservations at the hotel. And when you do that, make sure the understand that it's the TeslaTech conference. Um, Probably best to do it through the hotel directly.
Yeah.
But if you have a problem getting there, getting a reservation, let me know. Um, she was supposed to have that opened up by now, and so and then like 80, 84, $86 a night. I think it's 84 for one. You can't beat that. I mean, that includes a breakfast, and if you go to any place in town, you're looking at $15, $20 for breakfast these days. And when you consider that these rooms, if you walked in off the street during our conference, you'd be paying $180 without breakfast. So that's how big of a deal we got with this hotel and how they work with us. We've been there since pre-COVID, a couple of shows before COVID. But I've known the general manager there for like 10, 15 years. I'm getting too old.
And Steve, the other thing I would say is make sure up until April, you've extended it till April 5th. There's a 30% off on the show price. So take advantage if you can.
And if you sign up 2 people, there's an additional 5%. So it's like 35% instead of 30%. This is the most affordable show you're going to ever get. And the thing about conferences, the way to make them affordable is you plan for them. A lot of people consider this like a family reunion. I mean, they've come to them for years and they know each other. And here's your chance to get in the fold here and get to learn people, get to see stuff. Sometimes when you're trying to work an idea out, you get on a single track there, but here could be an inspiration to do something different, And I know, like when I went to see a guy who was working on a solar device, this before I knew anything about solar, his concept of coils was totally different than what the solar people were actually doing. So, and this guy was a brilliant guy. I mean, this guy was a racetrack driver in Cuba in the days of the Batistas. He was a treasure hunter, on top of that, and he had the warmest house in Crested Butte, Colorado. There, he had the warmest town there. I mean, at night he pulls a plug and all these foam comes down and fills up his windows. And then when the daytime comes, he has a vacuum come and suck it out, so you got the light coming through. I mean, the guy's a brilliant inventor in that. He had a trod half a mountain there to put in his own heat storage, from solar. And he had to get the building inspector drunk, to get him to sign off on letting him do that. And then when you have all these concrete trucks coming before the concrete guys, wow, did I sign off on this? So yeah, he's quite the character. You're not going to meet a better bunch of people anywhere, And bring your kids. Kids are free. I mean, and don't let money be an obstacle, to come, this last couple of months, there's times, I was wondering, like, am I even going to be around? And it really has a way of focusing you, and it makes you realize what's really important in that. And for me, getting this technology out there is what I do, and I'm not going to let something like this keep me from having this conference, And I'm feeling like, a lot better now that they got that one drilled out, and I can't wait to get the other 3 because then my balance will be back. And I'll be like 20 years younger, And I just ask people, please refrain from telling me what I need to do at this point. I know exactly what I need to do. And I know all the different remedies that, but a lot of the stuff that we have, like alternative medicine, and that a lot of it takes time for it to kick in. And sometimes you don't have that time. So I don't ever say anything bad about people seeing a doctor in that or scientists in that. I believe in science. I believe in technology. I think sometimes they get like this visor on and they can't see see anything besides that. That's bad. But we kind of open that up, but you can't be so open that you let anything in. You always got to be constantly on the lookout for stuff. So anyway, that's all I can say. I mean, I'm looking forward to having this year. I want everyone to get signed up as soon as possible. I extended the discount to the 30% to the 5th, give everyone an extra chance to get there. And we had the 5% discount for companions in that. But what can I say? I mean, it's going to be a great conference, and I hope to meet all you there and sit down and have some coffee with you.
It has a good vibe. The people that are coming are lovely. They're warm, and they're spirit. And I'm looking forward to it.
And I know things are tough out there, and I've tried to hold the line on everything I can, and then get these people to give me big breaks on stuff, so we continue putting out the same quality of product, if not better. And so I invite everyone to come on, get signed up if you haven't already. If you want to be a volunteer for some of the stuff we need, I need someone who can put together a video, perhaps someone who's done it before.
Yeah, please.
So we can start advertising on the YouTube, because we have over 15,000 subscribers at this point, and by the time the conference is around, we should be over 20,000. We're growing at a pretty rapid rate, and so
our objective also is to fill this up. I mean, to make sure we have like 400 minimum in there, and so that it makes it easier actually for Steve to run the programs, because when you actually put on events, especially after so many things have been shut down, it makes it a little bit more dicey to put yourself on the line. And so our objective is to get people in. So share the word. You have the link here. You hit the conference thing and share it. Put it on Facebook. Put it on your YouTube. Put it on whatever you got that you can share it with other people and say, hey, let's go. And then meet us there.
And come and join us in August. And in the meantime, I don't know if I'm going to have a show next week at this point. I have an appointment on Wednesday with my surgeon and that. They're going to let me know what the next few steps are, and then I can figure out from there.
There we go. All right.
And I will be there.
Yes, you will. And full steppy step. So, all right.
I could barely make it across the parking lot 2 weeks ago, but now I think I start climbing mountains again, and do hiking again, which I'm looking forward to. Checking it out and see how far I can go. But yeah. So anyway, thank you all for paying attention, and we'll see you.
See you at the show. Hopefully, come join us.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody. Share.